I'm singing this note because it fits in well with the chords I'm playing. I can't pretend there's any meaning hidden in the things I'm saying, but I'm in tune, right in tune. I'm in tune, and I'm going to tune right in on you, right in on you, right in on you. You, Shawnee, how you doing, buddy?
Doing well, man. Thanks for choosing this song. The Who's a great band. That's a song called Getting in Tune from their 1971 album, Who's Next? Joe chose those lyrics. I wanted you to read them tonight. We're going to be tweaking some things here and there, but I want to, it's nice when you choose your own lyrics and you get to read them too. Why'd you choose these lyrics, sir?
I've loved this song since I told you I have my oldest sibling was 11 years older than I. And from the time I'm 6 years old, 5, 6, 7 years old, I'm hearing the Who and the Stones and the Beatles. I'm hearing a lot of this stuff. And I could just remember this song just embedded in my brain. I never really thought too much about the lyrics. I always just took it just superficially, like, I guess him talking about getting in tune is like, falling in love with a certain woman or something like that. Because, there's some reference to that. But as I investigate the lyrics and research the lyrics a little more thoroughly, is a lot more there. A matter of fact, a lot of the meaning of the lyrics is still kind of ambiguous. There are a couple different theories about what's going on here. The first thing is that Peter Townsend, he was having a personal conflict between the life he was leading as a rock star, the hedonistic party and promiscuity and that kind of stuff. He was having problems between that and his need for spirituality, and how those two things were, they were hard to jive. They were hard to balance. So that's one angle. The other angle is just he was just tuning one day, just tuning up. And I don't know if you've ever seen the Seinfeld episode where they're in a Chinese restaurant and they're making the whole show out of just the minutia of standing around. Well, he decided to make a song out of the minutia of just standing around trying to get in tune. I thought that was pretty cool. That I'm singing this note because it, not for any reason other than it fits in well with the chords I'm playing right now, because I'm just trying to get in tune. So that's why I'm singing it. I can't pretend there's any meaning hidden within the things I'm saying right here. I'm just trying to get in tune. So he just took that minutia and made a song out of it. I think that was really, really neat. There's another angle that another critic said, that he believes that they were using the idea of a band tuning up, right? Trying to get themselves in tune as a metaphor for creating harmony between diverse social groups. I thought that was pretty neat. That's also another theory. Townsend has never really come out, and he was never able to be pinned down on I think he wanted it this way, that it's somewhat of an enigma. But in essence, what most people believe is that the conflict that Peter Townsend was having between, the wildlife and his need for spirituality, A, and B, just the overall power of music socially and spiritually. That's what I found when I started to dive into researching the lyrics. Now, we back off all that stuff, and I don't know if you had a chance to listen to the song.
I did. I listened to it like a couple times today. I like it.
It's just a
I've
fantastic
actually
song.
I saw the Who live in Philadelphia when I was like in college. They were good.
Yeah, and that's later on. I mean, can you imagine seeing them in their heyday? But the song itself is just, and it's recognized as like a masterpiece. I didn't know all that either. I just knew that, I dug the Who because it was those groups were in my brain and implants from a very young age, and that's a critical period, if you will. And so it was neat to find all that out. And I think I've listened to the song about 15 times over the last day because I just wanted to hear it.
I like the part of the song. I like the part of the song where he says, "I've got it all here in my head. There's nothing more needs to be said. I'm just banging on my old piano. I'm getting in tune to the straight and narrow." Like I just like that simplistic, I've got it all here in my head. There's nothing more that needs to be said. I'm just banging on my piano, just playing the music.
Yeah, and I like the line where it's, and I'm going to tune right in on you. The right in on you. The right in on you is still ambiguous because no one's really sure if he's speaking to a woman in that litany or if he's speaking to a higher power. No one's really sure, but it's interesting. It's good stuff. Legendary group. I love that group. This is the first time I've referenced them, and I'm glad I did. I'm glad you enjoyed it too, my friend.
Absolutely, man. So how's everything going with you, man? How was your week? You're happy it's Friday?
Oh, always happy it's Friday. Not happy with the Sixers last night, but we'll get into that later. And I'm not happy about one of our ace pitchers, one of our prospects, this kid Painter. And we'll get into it later, but he's showing up with a sore elbow already. So it's not good. So anyway, other than that,
not to rush into sports, but like last night, you guys ran to Luka and Kyrie having, awesome games. I mean, Kyrie had 40 and Luka had 42. So that's 82 points between those two superstars. It's tough to compete with.
Yeah. And big perk, Perkins, he said also the Sixers didn't get in there till 4:00 in the morning. And, it was a lot going on, but, excuses, but we'll see. It's going to be interesting to see. I'm not writing them off yet. I'm thinking if they get hot, they can have a chance in the East. They got to get red hot though. So we'll see. And your Knicks, your Knicks are no slouch. They're for real.
I know, man. So, they're right now they're beating the Heat by 5 points. Good game, man. I mean, just to do this show, they play a lot on Mondays and Fridays, and that's when we do the show. So it's just a little sacrifice missing those Knicks, but I'll be locked in for the playoffs and everything like that. I'll try to work the schedule a little bit differently if I have to. But
Tony, you can also go old school and just record it and not listen to and tell everybody, don't tell me if you know, don't tell me. That's what we used to do. Yeah.
I know, but then I don't know, it throws off my whole night because then I'm behind on that game. Then if I want to open up the sports app and somehow I'm gonna come across the score regardless and it'll be spoiled. But
you'll find a way.
Yeah. Yeah, man. So I went to the movies last night. I saw the new Creed movie. If you don't know anything about it, it's kind of like a spin-off of the Rocky movies. It's Apollo Creed's son, Adonis Creed, played by Michael B. Jordan. Mm-hmm. I wasn't crazy about the first two, but this one was really good. I liked it a lot. And one of my favorite up-and-coming actors was in it, Jonathan Majors. This guy is going to be a superstar. I mean, he's the villain in the Marvel universe now. He's the conqueror. He was in a movie called Devotion. Mm-hmm. He's been in 3 really good movies that I've seen. Devotion, Ant-Man was okay. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of Marvel movies, but this movie Creed, he played a hell of a role. And it was one of those movies that I was frustrated because Rocky's supposed to be the hero, Creed's supposed to be the hero. But in this movie, I was conflicted because the story was, and you find it, I'm not giving any spoilers away, you find this out in the previews. Michael B. Jordan was in a group home as a child. And as a child, he was really good friends, best friends with this guy, Damien. And Damien got arrested, but he got arrested basically because Michael B. Jordan's character, Adonis Creed, attacked this guy who had wronged him in the past. And then Damien defends him and pulls out a gun, and the cops come, and Michael B. Jordan's character runs away, and Damien's left holding the gun and gets arrested and spends 18 years in prison. But before Damien went to prison, he was the youngest up and coming Gold Gloves boxer, the top ranked amateur boxer in the world. He was really up and coming. And then Michael B. Jordan's character obviously became a world heavyweight champion boxer. So Damien's in prison for all these years, and he's wondering, why didn't his best buddy, why didn't he keep in touch with him? So he gets out of prison and he's what's going on, man? And you see this in the preview. He basically says, he's man, it was what it's like being in a prison and being in a box and watching someone else live your life. He was supposed to be heavyweight champion. He was supposed to be rich. He was supposed to be famous. And so you find yourself, usually in these movies, you kind of root against the villain or whoever Apollo's opponent, or whoever Apollo's Adonis Creed's opponent is, Apollo's son, and whoever Rocky's opponent is. You're supposed to root for those guys. But in this movie, I was man, I think I'm rooting for Damien because he got screwed. You know what I mean? This guy didn't get arrested that day. He ran away and then he becomes this world champion. not saying that Damien wouldn't have got arrested anyway and his life wouldn't have been upturned, but you know, you don't know that stuff. So I found myself rooting for kind of the villain in this. He's supposed to be the villain, but he's not really like a villain, right?
Right.
Um, but
I
he was
would too. I would root for him too in that scenario.
Yeah, so it was a good, and I love Jonathan Majors, and he played a great role. I think they could have had more scenes with him and Adonis, but it was fine. The movie was about 2 hours, so it was long enough, I guess. Not going to give away the ending, obviously, and who won the fight and all that stuff, but um, very good movie. I rank it actually an 8.1. I really enjoyed it. That's how much I liked it. I don't really go in the eights a lot unless I really like a movie. I thoroughly enjoyed this movie, and I'll probably see it again. At least, not I don't know if I'll see it again in the movies, but maybe I'll see it when it comes out and stream it and enjoy it again. It was that good. I liked it that much.
I saw the first one. I haven't. I liked it. I saw the first one. I thought it's pretty cool. There was even some Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes in there somewhere. In that movie, there was a song by Harold Melvin and Blue Notes, and it's local ties and everything. I saw the first one, and I just never got around to seeing the second one. So don't tell me anything because I'm way behind in that. I do want to see it though. It's both of them.
No, yeah, I'm not going to give away everything I just told you is all in the trailer, by the way. So I didn't give away any spoilers.
Cool.
And then I'm really hyped up. You know the band Linkin Park, Joe?
I've heard of them. Yeah.
So they're like an awesome band, and the lead singer Chester Bennington committed suicide a couple years ago. So that was tragic. And one of my biggest regrets is never seeing them live because I thought I had the rest of like my life, because they're like around my age. I'm like, oh, I can see Linkin Park when I get a chance. Always wanted to see him, and then Chester killed himself. So that hurt me a lot and felt bad for him. He had a family and kids and everything. It was really tragic.
Yeah.
But anyway, they had a 2003 album called Meteora, and they had like 7 tracks they didn't put on the album for whatever reason. And they're releasing like a 20th anniversary of Meteora with those 7 tracks. But they released one of those tracks. And I think I heard it first on Howard Stern show because Mike Shinoda was on the Stern show last week or 2 weeks ago. Great guy. Seems like an awesome guy. Very talented. But this song called Lost, they released. Oh my, what a song. And I can't believe that it's been hidden all these years and it wasn't never released. Like, it just shows you how good a band they were, but I definitely think they should have released it because I listened to this song. I'm not lying when I say this. I probably listened to the song 20 times today. No joke. That's how much I like it. Because when I like something, I play it to death. I play that song over and over. On repeat. So
sure. And a good band.
Yeah, Linkin Park's awesome, but yeah. So what's your plan tomorrow, man? What's your game plan for your cheat meal? Let's get ahead of the game this time. We usually ask you after, but are you planning for TB again, Taco Bell?
Right now it's still up in the air, undetermined. I think I'm gonna wait till tomorrow afternoon sometime to make that determination. It's funny that you ask because right around the time that I want to make a move, I might get some pizza, I might get some Five Guys or something like that. I may go to the diner and have it just a regular, like a turkey, mashed potatoes, stuffing, and that kind of thing. I may do that. So I don't know. Yeah. I don't think I'm going to go to TB tomorrow though, but don't hold me to that either.
Starting to get sick of it?
Sick of it. I don't know about sick of it, but yeah, I get you. I'm starting to get a little bit like, move away for a while. And then when you come back, it's, it's better. So.
Yeah. Did you hear about any of the stories? There's been a lot of dead whales washing up on the beaches of New York and New Jersey. 11 dead whales have washed up since December 5th.
Yeah, I've seen that on the news.
What's going on, man?
They think it's boating accidents.
The one whale was found by the water's edge, Seaside Park. This one was in Seaside. Yeah, they're examining the carcass, so they don't know. But this one was a humpback whale. I didn't even know there was humpback whales in our area. You know what I mean? I thought it was just like random other types of whales.
Yeah, I didn't either. And the one thing I did take away from the news that they said, because I'm thinking to myself too, what's going on? Is something in the water or something? They think a lot of it is just boat strikes, which in and of itself is a drag too when you think about it. Yeah. I mean, these animals are just minding their own business, and
Have you ever been on a boat?
Yeah.
Like what's like the biggest boat you've been on? Like a cruise ship, a yacht?
That the big ferry boats they run out of Cape May and run it over to Delaware. I used to take on a week. I used to take the kids if they were well behaved. I would tell, okay, if you're well behaved this week, I'll take it. And so maybe maybe once every 2 months or so, 3 or 4 times a year, I would take them because you can't do that every week. But I would say if you're really good, I'd use it as motivation, and I would take them. I'd take them to over to Lewes, Delaware, and but that whole thing was kids. It's a little bit of a thrill for adults, but when you're a kid, they really got a kick out of it. So yeah, and they're huge. I don't know if you can get much bigger than that unless you're talking about an military boat or something.
I've actually, when I was younger, I went to Maine a couple times on vacation, Bar Harbor specifically, and I went whale watching. And whale watching is pretty fun, man. Being so close to the ship gets so close to the whales in the water. And then I became obsessed with whales as a child. I had my mom was buying me a bunch of like little whale action figure and figurines of whales. I had them all over like my shelf and everything. So I've always been fascinated by whales. Whales are amazing creatures.
They are. One of the things I used to do too is it was down the shores, down in Cape May, but it was like, okay, not the ferry boat, but there are jetties that go out pretty far out there, fairly far. And I would take the kids and we'd walk out to the end of the jetties. And a lot of times, especially around, late in the afternoon, you could just look out from the edge of the jetty. You could look out for maybe 50, 60 feet and you could see a school of dolphins just coming by.
Yeah.
You know how they pop up?
Yep.
And the kids will be like, oh, look, oh, because, it's pretty neat stuff when you're that close to nature, that close to something.
You want to talk about being close to nature, man. I've gone swimming with dolphins in Key Largo, Florida.
Wow.
Swam right with the dolphins. It was once you're in the water with them, they're a lot bigger once you're right near them. It's kind of scary. They had these big teeth.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is exciting, but it's also scary. So if you ever get a chance, Joe, I'm telling you, man, try to go swimming with the dolphins because it's like you'll have a whole new perspective. Like you were that close with these amazing creatures and they're really friendly. Like, man, it's fun.
And they're powerful too. I don't know if it's true or not, but I heard that sometimes a dolphin can kill bigger fish, bigger sharks or even a whale, small whale. They can because I guess,
There was an episode of The Simpsons about like dolphins, how like these they put like these things on the dolphin's head or something like that, and the dolphins could like talk like humans. And then the dolphins eventually came out of the sea and like tried to like kill the humans or something. It was like crazy. The Simpsons always has wild stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I'll never forget that episode.
Yeah.
What cartoons as a child did you watch? Did you watch any?
Yeah. On Saturday mornings, Scooby-Doo. Besides the main ones though, really were the weekday ones you'd see all the time doing the Bugs Bunny, Roadrunner, Yosemite Sam. Trying to think of
a lot of Looney Tunes stuff.
Yeah, used to love that kind of stuff. And
like you never
remember
Flintstones?
What?
Flintstones ever?
Yes, of course. Flintstones, yes.
Okay. Yeah, man.
And I didn't know. A fun fact about the Flintstones is I don't know which came from. I think the Flintstones, it was the show The Honeymooners was an inspiration for the cartoon Flintstones. And I didn't know that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wait, The Honeymooners.
Jackie Gleason and so forth.
I remember because my mom used to like love that show. She was cracking up at that show when I was younger.
Yeah.
That one, like the father was like some like kind of like big, overweight, obese guy, right?
Yeah, Jackie Gleason.
Yeah.
And he used to say
that inspired the Flintstones.
Yeah, the Flintstones was sort of like a cartoon animated version of that. And I did not know that. And I swear to you, you can look it up. I can, and it makes sense though when there are some parallels, so
That's
it's pretty
wild.
neat. Yeah.
Yeah, we learn something new every day.
Yeah, there you go.
Interesting. Cool. All right, so let's move on to our actor. If you have anything else to say, Joe, anything to say, or good?
Not for the moment. No.
Okay, cool. All right, so this is your actor, sir. You surprised me with this one. The man's name is Wallace Shawn. Not spelled like my name, S-E-A-N, spelled S-H-A-W-N. So growing up, I always thought my spelling was the real spelling, S-E-A-N.
Right.
I thought anybody named Sean that was spelled differently was not because I think the real Irish way to spell it is Sean. Anyway, I digress. Let's talk about this man. He was born November 12th, 1943. Born in New York City. His mom was a journalist and his dad was a renowned longtime editor of the New Yorker. Family's Jewish. He's got a brother who's a composer, sister who's severely autistic who lives in an institution. He attended Harvard, so he's obviously a pretty smart guy. He got his Bachelor of Arts there, studied philosophy and politics and economics. Kind of like me, I studied political science and philosophy too. He also studied Latin at Magdalen College in Oxford. He wanted to become a diplomat. Then he traveled to India as an English teacher. Then he taught Latin in Manhattan. But since 1979, he's made his living as an actor. So pretty cool, pretty interesting story. He claims he was born into a life of privilege. That was interesting. When I was reading his IMDb profile, it's like he was born in the privilege. I don't really see that a lot in actors' profiles, like born in the privilege. So I thought he might have told somebody to write that just to let people know that, you know, he came from privilege. I guess, I don't know.
Well, he was ballsy enough to admit it, you know.
Exactly. I like that. I respect it.
I do too.
So he started doing theater in 1970, but he didn't really make it big or do anything special until 1979. He debuted in a Woody Allen film. He played Diane Keaton's ex-husband. I think the movie was called Manhattan or something like that.
I think it was, yeah.
A lot of like he's basically a character actor. A lot of people see a picture of him. Like, if anybody's listening to this, Google Wallace Shawn. You're gonna be like, oh, I know this guy. He's this goofy looking little bald guy. He's been a voice actor in a lot of stuff, including Toy Story, The Simpsons, and BoJack Horseman. I remember him actually from a lot of stuff, but one thing I remember him for, he was in Gossip Girl. And he said he was surprised that he got to play a regular human being in Gossip Girl because he never gets cast as a normal human being. He always gets cast as like a character, kind of creepy guy or something. Right. Kind of funny. He says he grew up in a specialized environment. I guess that was part of the privilege. So he doesn't know how to act like a real person. He says he knows he's a character actor and he thinks they are partially human. Like they're not legitimate, like real actors and they're just character actors. So he's kind of being self-deprecating. He said he's always been like an old man. He said even at a young age, he's been like an old man. He's very rigid and didn't have a lot of fun. He admits that. He's best known. I never heard this movie. Now I want to watch it because I was watching a lot of scenes from this movie. It's very interesting. My Dinner with Andre.
Never saw it.
Oh man, dude, this is just a conversation between two guys in a restaurant, and they talk about awful lot. It's almost like our episode 2 Deep Thoughts. They're going over like these deep things in life. It's a very interesting movie, man. I think you'd enjoy it. I just watched a couple of scenes on YouTube because he's known from that movie as the guy who says inconceivable. When people see him in public, they're like inconceivable. Yeah. And he's
gonna have to check it out.
Yeah, he's also in The Princess Bride. So both movies, I didn't see either of those. He said he speaks and thinks very slowly. And he was in a movie called The Double with Jesse Eisenberg. The director wanted him to speak fast, so that was kind of a different change of pace for him. The movies that he's been in that I really know him from, The Meteor Man from 1993, House Arrest from 1996. I think I saw House Arrest for my mother in Florida. We used to go to Florida like a lot of summers. Vegas Vacation, can't forget that. Duplex with Ben Stiller. Damages was a great show. Glenn Close, Gossip Girl, The Double, The Good Wife. So he's been in a lot of good TV shows. He's really a character actor and he makes a lot of appearances on a lot of good shows, but he's never really recurring. Like he said, he doesn't get a lot of recurring roles. He was in Mr. Robot, Mozart in the Jungle. That was an Amazon Prime show. A good movie on Netflix called Marriage Story. He's in your show, Joe, The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, and Search Party. So basically, he's in a lot of stuff that I've seen him in personally. Was TV shows. So like, what made you think of Wallace Shawn to choose for Actor of the Week?
Well, I've been kind of stretching the rules a little bit lately and going with, and we're allowed to do it. We make up the rules, but I've been going with more known actors. It's hard to stay with a full diet of like, not to say B actors, but, like you said, character actors and so on. So I wanted to do one that really, really fit our description and our criteria. Okay, so I really wanted to do one. And here's a guy that I have seen in movies and in television all my life in so many different things. And he's really an endearing little fella. He really is. He has a pronounced lisp, but he embraces it. And I'm going to tell you, I don't really hear a lisp when he's speaking. I don't. It's there, but I'm so used to him that he would not be himself if that lisp wasn't there. So it's a good thing for him. It's worked for him. It's part of who he is. So that, and the fact that longevity, he's just been around for so long. I just admire him, and he fits the bill. And I'll give you and he's never been anything earth shattering. He's, but he's just, that war of attrition. He's always been there. And those are the kind of people that when we can, we really like to spotlight. Now, as you stated, he's been in television just as much as he's been in the movies, right? So actually, I'm going to do my top 5 list. I'm going to count from 5 down to 1. My 5th is actually from a TV show, regardless of what we think about anybody or any situation. But The Cosby Show was a hell of a TV show with a long run, and he was a friend of the Huxtable family. And he was just a good character there. I can remember him from being on there. Number 4 is Clueless. Now, he's been in Clueless, the movie and the TV series. He played Mr. Hall. He played a quirky fella in a movie called The Cemetery Club, which was an interesting movie. And he's been in the Toy Story series. He's the voice of Rex. Now, you can say, well, it's not really acting. Well, it is kind of, because you're vocal. And not only that, he's been in several of them, not just one.
You got me thinking, because a lot of times we choose actors, and a lot of these guys do voice acting, but I usually try not to, not saying we can't put it in our top 5, but I'm like, you know what, they're just voice acting. So we have to really think about, I'm not challenging.
I follow you. No, I follow you, Shawn.
I'm thinking, we have to really think about it. Is voice acting? It's a whole different style, but this guy, that's one of his specialties. So I don't mind that you're choosing this at all as a voice.
Right. And you know what? Because you're right. I had the same thought, but what really gave me the green light is he was not only in one Toy Story movie, he's been in several, if not all of them. So that's why I did that. Now, number one is a movie, one of my favorite movies, really. It's called Heaven Help Us. And he played a character, Father Abruzzi. And if you've seen Heaven Help Us with Dylan, I think it was Matt Dillon or his brother. But there were a lot of actors in that we know, but it was about a Catholic school for boys in the 1950s in New York. I'm not sure if it was Brooklyn or the Bronx or whatever.
Dude, this movie seems right in my wheelhouse. I'm reading, I didn't even know I'm reading it right now as you said it. It says a new transfer student to St. Basil's Boys Prep School tries to fit in while romantically pursuing a troubled young girl. That's a type of, as I went to a prep school myself, not a boarding school.
Right.
I went to an all boys one. So I'm always fascinated by when people make movies about the dynamic of prep schools and stuff. But Donald,
you've never seen it?
No, it looks like Donald Sutherland's in it, Andrew McCarthy, John Hurd, Kevin Dillon. That's Matt Dillon's
Kevin,
brother.
right.
He's famous for Entourage. Wallace
You've never seen this one, Shawn?
Dude, I was born in 86. This came out in 85, man. Give me a break.
No, I'm not. Don't say it like that. I'm saying that.
I know I'm just busting your balls, but I haven't seen it, bro. No.
Oh, please, dude, you are going to love this. You're going to be rolling on the floor. Okay, I'm telling you.
It's on HBO Max, so I might mess around and watch it later.
Right. All right. Do that. All right. But there it is. So 5 was Cosby, the Cosby Show. 4 was Clueless, movie and TV series. 3, Cemetery Club, about 4 widows in the Pittsburgh area in a Jewish neighborhood in the 1950s. It's a really interesting. Danny Aiello's in it. It's a good movie. 2 is the Toy Story series, and 1 was Heaven Help Us. He played Father Abruzzi, and there it is.
Absolutely, man. Good list. It's actually funny because I'm reading. Sometimes people go on Reddit, famous actors. Mm-hmm. They do AMAs. AMA. Ask Me Anything. AMA stands for. I'm pretty sure. So he says, inconceivable. I am actor Wallace Shawn. AMA. You might know me as Vizzini from Princess Bride or Dr. Sturgis and Young Sheldon. But he basically, they go on these things sometime and they tell people they're going to ask him any question they want. They open it up to the public. So someone asked him a question. He's like, how you doing? That type of thing. He says, I remember you from My Dinner with Andre. He says, I never heard about this, but apparently they're doing a My Dinner with Andre sequel. That's what he says. And I haven't heard this in the news at all. So this is interesting. Just learning this now. This was a year ago that he said this. So yeah, he's answering a bunch of questions. So he seems like a type of guy, celebrities don't always like to like deal with the public, but this
Right.
guy's not super famous. He's a normal type guy. But he answers some fans' questions. This is pretty cool. I like when the actors and famous people do the Ask Me Anything things on Reddit. It's pretty cool.
Right. And you know what else I forgot to mention?
What?
There's a TV show called Young Sheldon. It's about the character from the Big Bang Theory.
Says Dr. Sturgis, he says, yeah.
Yeah, he's in that. He's got a regular role in that too. So he's still around and been around forever, and he should get some props. So
It says interesting. He says he doesn't own a TV. So interesting fact about Wallace Shawn.
there you go.
Yeah, interesting guy, unique. He's definitely unique looking. He's very he's interesting looking, right? If you know people, they call people quirky. I
Yeah.
would say that he's quirky looking, right?
All right, and his voice is unmistakable. And like I said, he embraces it. He wouldn't be him without that lisp. And he makes it work. It's part of
You didn't
who
see
he
Vegas
is.
Vacation? Did you see Vegas Vacation?
I may have, but I
It's
can't
like Chevy
remember.
Chase, where he takes his family to Vegas. And
Yeah, there were a couple of 3-4 of those, weren't there?
well, this one was made in '97, but I think Wallace Shawn's role in that, if I remember correctly, I think he plays a dealer. Yeah, he plays a dealer at the casino. And dude, you have to watch this. If you don't watch the movie, go on YouTube and watch it. I'll send you the link. I'll try to find it. But he plays a really snarky dealer who's like messing with the guy. The guy keeps losing his money and stuff or whatever.
Right.
He plays a pretty good role. So he's always playing those like funny, quirky character type roles. So yeah, I like, I don't think he's A-list. He's definitely not A-list. He's definitely not B-list. He's probably lower level C and D list, but that's not the point. He's a well-known guy that's got a lot of longevity. He's been around for a while. He's interesting. Seems like a nice, interesting, cool guy that we could talk about. So, why not spotlight him? You know what I mean?
Well, that's that actually, Sean, that was primarily the whole idea, is to get more guys like him and less like the bigger ones. But you know what? It's hard to do sometimes. So, but yeah, the idea that when you tell me he's even less than like a C actor, I hit a bullseye, because that's kind of what we started to do, was we wanted to try to get these, the guys that were in the back row, and the guys that weren't necessarily, and I say guys, I mean the guys and gals or whatever. So he fits the bill more. He checks more boxes of what we wanted than, let's say, a Denzel Washington, even, because we wanted not anywhere near as good as an actor, but for our criteria, we wanted to shed some light on those who the light hasn't shone on. So
yeah. All right, man. Let's move on to first of all, shout out to Wallace Shawn, sir. I know you don't own a TV, mister, but maybe you own a phone, and maybe somehow you come across our podcast.
My dude.
That'd be cool. All right. So Snapple Fact 1423. Joe, you chose this one. It's a flip coin is more likely to land on the side it started on.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. And there's a lot of different reasons for it. They say one big reason is because it's kind of like people when they toss a frisbee. It depends what your thumbs do. So coins flip from a thumb don't merely rotate around their axis, but they also spin like a frisbee. So whatever people are doing with their thumb when they flip the coin, because when people throw a frisbee, the longer the sides facing up stays facing up when the coin is in the air, the longer the side stays facing up, the better chance it will land that way. So they're kind of comparing it to, just to not give you a long, boring, minute reasons here, but it's kind of has to do with your thumb. And they say it's about 51% of the time, as much as 55% to 60%, that the coin lands on the side it started on. It really, honestly though, it depends on the flipping motion of the individual. So, it depends on the thumb and that type of stuff, but pretty interesting Snapple fact that they kind of figured out that the flip coin more likely to land on the side it starts on. So
yeah, I was just surprised, because you're talking about a 50-50 proposition. I mean, you really are. I mean, that's what it is. It's one side or the other, but come to find out, through those variables that you just, explained, it's not really a 50-50 proposition. It's pretty interesting,
yeah,
so
if you flip a penny, because penny is Abraham Lincoln,
that's my dude.
His head, the side with Lincoln's head on it, is a bit heavier than the flip side, so it causes the coin's center of mass to lie slightly towards heads. because the spinning coin tends to fall on the heavier side. So
Pretty cool.
that's with pennies, I guess, So there's always,
Yeah.
it's funny how like we live in such a world where people have so much time on their hands to research stuff like that. There are people like they
I
give
know.
you like scientific reasons of how a coin flips. You know what I mean?
I know. It's crazy.
All right.
It's neat though. Weren't you surprised to hear that?
Yeah, that was a cool one.
Yep.
All right, so let's do the on the real, man. What you got?
All right. You're a tough customer, man. Let me see here. All right. Number one. The first ever dry car wash opens in Dusseldorf, Germany. First ever dry car wash opens in Dusseldorf, Germany. That's one. Two. Woman finds $62,000 in an old board game. The game was Sorry, believe it or not.
Okay.
Woman finds $62,000 in an old board game. Number three. A clam found off the coast of Florida is believed to be 214 years old. Clam found off the coast of Florida is believed to be 214 years old.
Okay. All right, so we got dry car wash in Germany. We got the 214-year-old clam.
And a woman finds
She found
$62,000.
$62,000 in the Sorry board game, right?
Yep.
All right. All right. So the Sorry board game, my first instinct is to say, man, Joe's done stuff like this before. We've both done it where someone finds a lot of money in some random thing, but sometimes the number is too high. But maybe Joe found something that's a lower number. He's messing with me. He knows I'm going to think like this. So therefore he's going to use it because I'm not going to think it's real. I'm thinking that too. The dry car wash is interesting. I'm not going to pry for clues here. I'm just thinking about a dry car wash and what the hell that involves. Dry car wash. How can I'm just trying to think how you can possibly wash your car if it's dry car wash.
It's the technology. It's I'm not going to say anything else.
Yeah, but they have phone cleaners. It's called like phone soap. You put your phone in, it cleans your phone. So I know the technology does exist on a small scale level. The clam, 214 years old. I'm leaning towards that, but I haven't chosen it yet. Let me think. The 214-year-old clam. Where was the clam, you said?
Off the coast of Florida.
Okay. Wow. I don't think all right, I'm just gonna say it. I think the clam one's real.
Oh, sorry, but you are correct, sir.
Okay.
You are correct. Good job. 2.6 pounds. And they're calling it Aberclam Lincoln because they were both born in the same year. So, yeah, pretty neat stuff. But they determine that by sort of like the trees and the rings, the rings. There's something like that with where they can just determine very easily the age of a clam. And, they were surprised, but good work, young man.
Thank you, sir.
Yep.
Yeah, I think we're both learning each other's strategies here. We're getting more fine-tuned with how to choose the correct one.
I revealed too much of my rationale to you. See, and now it's coming back to bite me in the ass.
I really thought like kind of throw me off with the Sorry game. I was like, he knows that I'm going to think that's fake because we've been doing a lot of stories where someone finds a lot of money somewhere. But I'm like, what the hell? I don't want to overthink it. Anyway, good stuff, man.
Yeah.
All right. Bryan Kohberger and Alex Murdaugh updates. I think I started saying Murdoch, but every station I've been watching, like CNN, MSNBC, all the stations and stuff, and Fox News, any station that's on, they're all pronouncing it differently. Like I think I was right the whole time. I think it's Murdaugh. I don't think it's Murdoch.
See, the OUGH can be a soft or
it's AUGH.
Oh, is it AUGH? Okay, yeah. Because I've known people with the same spelled last name, Doherty and Doherty. I've known people that had the same damn, it's spelled exactly the same. One guy calls it Doherty, one guy says Doherty, so
yeah,
names are names.
Exactly. All right, so let's start off with that, man. Something big happened. I got a text from you yesterday around 7:00 saying guilty, 4 exclamation points. And I'm like, oh, I guess that's the verdict of the case. So yeah, the New York Times article says it all. Alex Murdaugh sentenced to life in prison. A judge sentenced a disgraced South Carolina lawyer to 2 consecutive life terms without the possibility of parole for the murders of his wife and son. So that pumps me up, right? Justice is served.
Yeah, yeah, it does, but it's still, it still bothers me, man. It bothers me. Three words I'd like to ask him: how could you? You know,
Because someone was saying,
how could
like
you?
he was talking to like his brother, because his brother took the stand too.
Hmm.
And Alex Murdaugh was more focused on finding out, or what was he more focused on? It was something like he was more focused on getting justice, clearing his son's name, than he was figuring out who killed his wife and son. So that was kind of a red flag. Someone told me that yesterday. They were watching the news, and like they were like, he wanted to really find out the story about the boat. He wanted to clear his son's name from the boat accident, basically.
His priorities were way out
But
of
priority
whack.
isn't to
Yeah.
find out who killed his wife and son, so it was a little weird.
Yes.
Um, so yeah, basically the jury only took 45 minutes of deliberation to reach a unanimous decision. So it only took that's really short, man. 45 minutes is nothing. I mean, these juries sometimes take hours and days.
Well, and I think everybody watching it with any degree of any kind of rationality knew that this cat was guilty, but the questions came up with our system. It's not flawless, our system, but it's the best one in the world. It's still not flawless though. But we were wondering, are they going to mess around and be able to murky the waters just enough?
Yeah.
Like I said in the last show we talked about, and the jury just wasn't having any bullshit. So hats off to them.
Yeah. And I'm basically what I'm reading here. It says the prosecution used Murdaugh's lies to convince the jury not to believe a thing this guy says, because he's got so many lies on record. You know.
Oh yeah, yeah. So I do feel for the kid that's left now. He's without his brother. He's
Buster,
without his
right?
mother.
Buster, yeah, Buster.
He's but I that's got to really mess with his head.
Someone was telling me today, I didn't even know this. I don't know the news source that this person got it from, but they were saying something about like, I don't know if he was talking about the murder. Remember someone got hit by a car in 2015 and they said they claimed there was just someone hit them with the car. That was it. They're like the Murdaughs weren't responsible, but someone was telling me that like Buster was like friends with Buster. This is like me speculating, honestly, and just hearing from someone told me this, but someone said Buster might have had like a homosexual affair with the guy who died or something like that, and his dad found out and had the guy killed. I don't know if this is true at all and where this man got this information. I'm just throwing this out there.
No, well, I was telling you, Sean, about a special that was on CNN, a 2-hour special. It was either 2 or 3 hour special. I think it was a 2-hour special. It was on a couple of weeks ago. I texted you to let you know it was on that one night, and they really went through this the whole thing. I mean, they took you from his great grandfather and how he established roots in that part of the that state, and all the way through the family history. And to make a long story short, this fella was living an alternate lifestyle, this friend of Buster's, and somehow something was going on, and the father was afraid that that relationship, because apparently there was some kind of something going on. The theory is the father was afraid that relationship was going to go public, and how it would affect him. Yeah. So if it was, this is how that was going to affect him.
Exactly.
So
he's a selfish bastard, selfish, murdering scumbag, sociopathic monster, reptilian idiot. But anyway, I digress. But basically, if anyone hasn't been listening to the show, the smoking gun was that Murdaugh for 20 months denied that he was at the dog kennels where his wife and son were shot to death.
Yeah.
Then he admitted that he lied about his whereabouts because they proved through like a Snapchat video or something like that it's on his son's phone, that he was like around the dog kennels briefly that night before the murders took place. So he had to admit it. So this guy was just he was hanging himself with his own words, basically. You know what I mean? So
yes, sir. So he's
justice
gone.
Was served. So good completion to the case. Justice was served. 2 life sentences without a possibility of parole. Let's go. LFG.
Yep.
Okay, so Bryan Kohberger, just a quick update. The police searched his Pennsylvania family home and car. Unsealed documents showed it. They found a knife, a pistol, computers, and hard drives. They're looking for evidence, obviously, connection. They even collected notes that Kohberger wrote, so that might yield some insights. A shop vac style vacuum. Well, the guy had a shop vac style vacuum. Clothing, shoes, medical style gloves, and criminology books. The criminology books is not that interesting because he was studying that. But they also found a shovel, gloves, and goggles in his car. The guy had a shovel, gloves, and goggles. So yeah, this guy's that's another, because we're gonna be that case is gonna be isolated for our show, because obviously Murdaugh's over with, unless another case pops up. We mess around and using the show too, but
Yeah.
Kohberger, yeah, that's probably open shut case too. That guy's probably guilty of sin, but I digress. All right, so current event, Joseph Thurman. We talked about this a little bit. This stuff happens a lot, the statues and whatnot, but this article popped up in the New York Times a couple weeks ago. Basically, at Vermont Law School, there is a large mural. It depicts slavery, but it's not supposed to be racist. It's just supposed to be a moment in time in history. It's supposed to be a caricature. It's about a 24-foot long depiction of slavery. The artist is not racist. It's supposed to depict the brutality of slavery that includes scenes from a slave market, a slave owner wielding a whip, and an attacking dog. But it also shows white Vermonters protesting slavery and helping people escape to freedom via the Underground Railroad. It's a very bold and colorful painting. It's more expressive than realistic. It's inspired by Mexican muralists. They had similar murals that were once nearby Dartmouth College. They sparked calls for their removal, but this wasn't an issue. Basically, the teacher, Shirley Jefferson, she's an African American.
Mm-hmm.
She said that there was painting 30 years ago it's condemned slavery. The artist's name is Sam Curson. He's white. She said she really didn't care about the mural until Black Lives Matter started. She started thinking about it. She's like, man, we shouldn't have this up in the law school. But what's happening now is the artist is fighting the removal of the mural, because you can't just remove it. It's like a 24-foot long mural, and it turns on the federal law. Artists is allowed to prevent modification of their work if the change would harm their honor or reputation. So the law school is trying to argue that covering the murals, even permanently, it's not a modification. It leaves no mark. So there's a back and forth going on. Mr. Curson, the artist, he's claiming that it's going to damage his reputation. He's going to suffer indignity and humiliation and having the cover put over his art. He's a native of Western Massachusetts, and I think Massachusetts is pretty liberal. They're not really known for their conservative type people. He lived in Vermont for decades before moving to Quebec 20 years ago. He's been influenced by the social realist movement. So what I'm saying is this guy doesn't really have a racist bone in his body, and didn't paint a 24-foot mural in a law school out of hate. He did it to show history and also show the white people helping some of the black people escape to the Underground Railroad. It's a very innocent type of mural, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But now all this stuff is going on where people are so sensitive, and woke culture, cancel culture. It wasn't until 2020, until the whole Black Lives Matter, the movement, where the professor concluded that inconsistent with the law school's mission. But in 1993, when the murals were painted, the students of color only made up 10% of the graduating class. Now students of color make up about 25% of the class. So it raises a question of free expression and whether or not the free expression violated in order to display the mural. I don't know. It sounds very I know I'm not a black person, so I don't know. I can't speak exactly how I'd feel to have how this painting would be viewed and how I'd feel about it. But I don't know, man. It just seems like people are tearing down artworks and statues. I can understand some of the statues that they tear down, some of these racist guys that they don't want them immortalized and remembered and stuff, especially as a statue. But this is just
Some of them, right?
like a
Some,
kind of an artistic expression of a mural, right?
yeah.
And this guy's. Do you think it's petty of him to challenge it in court? Do you think they should just let the school cover up the painting? Do you think he's right for challenging this in court?
I think he is absolutely right. First of all, I like history, and you just can't select the history, you want to display and just omit and forget about, or change history. The history we have in this country is real. It happened, and he's depicting it. And even without the white people who were, in support of freedom and so forth, even if they weren't there, it still wouldn't be out of line because it's historically accurate. No one's saying, hey, look at these, this is a great thing. No, they're not saying that. I mean, that would be different, but he's displaying history the way it happened. And you would think in a learning institution, you would think that they'd be open to that. I mean, look, not all history is stuff that we like, but it's there. And especially in academia and in a law school, I think he's absolutely right. And then you throw in the fact that there are white people there that they're showing, the people like John Brown and so forth, the abolitionists and people like that. So I think I'm all for the artist. I'm all for depicting that. It's not degrading. It's just being historically responsible. And I'm all for the artist and his right to display that, and I'm against
Yeah, but the law school, the thing about it is it's the law school, it's their school. And just because an artist painted something in their school, they're kind of mad that they're not allowed to like legally just like get rid of whatever's in their school. So there's a law, basically it protects the artist. It's a federal law. It's obscure. The case has been in the courts for 2 years. Now it's in the U.S. Court of Appeals. But it's one of those things which is interesting. Not necessarily the fact that it's like, okay, it depicts slavery, right? But it's a matter of like free expression, but also it's like just because the artist painted the painting at the law school, you can't obviously take the painting off the wall and transfer it to someone else. So we obviously it's going to be covered up for life. They can't, get it back to the guy. So I kind of feel like on the law school, like they do have the right to like alter, they should be handcuffed, right? They shouldn't like just because a painting is in their building, they should be allowed to modify the building however they please, right? So, say it was the most innocent painting in the world, and they wanted to remove it, and the artist didn't want to remove it, because this one kind of has some gray area. Like it depicts slavery, and some Black people don't want the slavery depicted. They feel like it's offensive to them. The guy's just, he did it in the spirit of condemning slavery, so that's not the real issue. But some people are saying that it's racist caricatures of Black people, and they don't like those. Fine, but I think the issue comes down, for me, it's like like if I owned a house, for example, and I had like an historic painting in the house, an artist painted it, I would want to like paint over that mural in my house if I wanted to. The fact that the law school can't just get rid of this mural if they want to is kind of like interesting to me.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at it from a legal standpoint. I'm looking at it more of from a historical standpoint and a moral standpoint. I think that works like that should be cherished, and I support his right to be perturbed. I don't know how it's going to play out in the courts, but I can see I'd be sitting on his side in the courtroom, and so that's all I can give you with that.
You don't like the law school. Yeah, I don't know. But so you think the law school like they shouldn't have the right to just like cover up what they want?
Well, see, and having the right is a legal type of jargon that I'm looking at it just morally. I just think that he did this work. It's great work. It's historically responsible, right? He didn't sugarcoat it or change it. He put it up just the way it was. It's not too violent or anything like that, or ridiculous in any way. And it's been okay for all this time. Why all of a sudden?
Yeah. It's basically what the case really turns on the language of the federal law, because artists can prevent modification of the work if it harms their honor or reputation. So I guess just put myself in the artist's shoes. He strongly believes that his honor and reputation will be harmed. And honestly, I don't think it would. I mean, unless you're in the artistic community and you're like, oh man, like, that guy's reputation, like people in the law school are probably like, oh, that painting's covered now. No one will really think twice about it. And no one's going to care that this artist named Mr. Curson, that his mural was covered up. So I would be honest with you. I think the law school is going to win the case, though. I really do.
Yeah, and like I said, I don't know how it's going to play out legally. My personal feeling on it, though, and you know how I feel about history, and I just feel we have a responsibility to maintain accuracy with regard to history, and not just the history we like, but the history we may not like, but it's there.
Yeah, because he was influenced by the social realist movement. They seek to draw attention to oppression. So he wanted the murals to describe the horrors of slavery and celebrate Vermont's abolitionist history. So his intention was good.
Yeah.
And then the law school is a tiny progressive law school. So he thought it would be a perfect setting for it. Right. So I guess he's just like, he took a lot of pride in having this mural displayed in the law school. And now it's like, they want to just like take it down. So for now, I think they just have, they're covered by white, the painting's covered by white panels. It's not being damaged, but it depends on the court appeal. So I just thought this case was interesting, and
it is. Yeah.
It can lead to a lot of discussion, because I don't know if it's like that song by Dave Mason, I'm not right, I'm not wrong, you're not wrong, that type of thing. Or, we both just,
there ain't no good guy, there ain't no bad guy. There's only you and me, and we just disagree.
Yeah. So, it would be another thing if it was a clearly racist undertone, it was bad, it was racist, then I'd be like, yeah, get this thing off. But the fact that it's like, doesn't seem to be that racist. I wish, if we had a black person on the show to give their perspective, that would be more accurate than what I can give to you. But I digress. That's a story, and, interesting story. So
yeah, good choice, Sean.
They're going to be popping up all over the country, I'm sure. So keep an eye on that. But anyway, let's move on to sports. The New York Knicks just beat the Miami Heat 122-120. Julius Randle hit a 3-pointer with 2 seconds left, it looks like. I think we're on an 8 or 9 game winning streak, man.
You know what?
Big stop.
I got a feeling that the Knicks are going to mess around and make a lot of noise in the playoffs here.
I was telling my friends today at work, I was like, I think the Knicks can win the title. And I'm not being facetious.
Well, they've had so much bad luck for all these years. Maybe there's something going on.
Because there's something magical happening with the Villanova connection between Brunson and Hart. And also, Julius Randle and Brunson play really well together. It's not out of the question, because I know the Bucks and the Celtics are considered the cream of the crop, like Giannis, and Celtics have Tatum and Jaylen Brown, but the Knicks.
Well, they lost tonight, I think. I think the Nets beat the Celtics tonight. So, but go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's actually the Nets did beat the Celtics tonight, but yeah, the Knicks beat the Celtics the last two. That's what I'm saying. The Knicks beat the Celtics the last 2 times they played them. Yeah. It's not. I don't know, man. I have a lot of faith.
It's not outlandish to think you got 4 squads, right? You got your squad, my squad. You got the Celtics, and you got the Bucks, right? In the East.
Kind of the Cavaliers, they're in there too in the mix.
Well, I think you reach it. Well, yeah, but I'll cut it off at 4, and I think those are the 4. So I think it could be interesting, and the Knicks are really surprising. I'm really impressed.
I'm not going to argue with you there, because listen, they're I watch them as much as I can. Obviously, I have to sacrifice sometimes doing the show. That's fine. Because I can watch, I can watch replays of the game, whatever. Like next week, for example, they're not on Monday or Friday. I'll be able to watch all their games next week. So all good. But what I'm saying is I've watched enough of the Knicks, and I've seen the vast improvement. I've seen what Jalen Brunson has brought to the table. He's kind of like a maestro out there. He's really amazing. He's not some super flashy athletic guy. And my friend actually made a really great analogy. He compared him to Nikola Jokic from the Nuggets, who's obviously the reigning MVP.
Oh, Joker? Yeah.
And he's not flashy, but he doesn't get the respect he deserves. And now Jalen Brunson is slowly entering that category because he's putting up gaudy numbers. He's easily scoring 25 a night, at least in the last 30 games, I'd say. His assist numbers aren't always high because, some of the Knicks players don't always make the shots, but if you watch him, he's putting the ball in good places. He's giving the guys good passes. So, but Josh Hart's addition's awesome. But as far as the Sixers go, man, I mean, like I said, we talked about at the beginning of the show, last night's game, they only lost by like 7 points, but the Mavs, when those two superstars are playing at that level that Kyrie and Luka did, it's really tough to win. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and they both put up 40, I think. So, I mean,
He did his normal thing, and Embiid had 35. Maxey actually played really well at 29. Harden had 27. So it's just one of those games. You know what I mean? All their big players played well, but the Mavericks obviously, they had more firepower last night. So
well, I'm going to be watching very closely tomorrow night. It's going to be a big. I don't care if they don't win the game necessarily, but I want to see how they go punch for punch with the Bucks, because that's going to tell me a lot about my squad.
Yeah, I mean it's on ABC. It's on prime time.
Oh yeah,
it's at 8:30. I'm not sure or not, but you might be messing around taking some edibles. I'm not sure.
It depends if I'm in pain. If I got some back pain, it's better than reaching for the pain pills. But I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
Some guys reach for booze. I don't know. I may, to relax, I may have an edible tomorrow, one or two. But that's the point.
It says they haven't played each other since November. That's a long time to go, especially in the Eastern Conference. But it says Philadelphia won the last matchup by 8 points. But it's surprising they haven't played since November. That's like, let me look at the Sixers.
It is weird
because the Sixers, they're playing the Bucks tomorrow. And they're playing the Bucks again. Let me see. No, well, yep, they're playing the Bucks in early April. So they have a game versus the Bucks tomorrow, then another game versus the Bucks in April. But honestly, I think the Knicks might actually be able to jump. If the Sixers lose a couple games, the Knicks might be able to jump the Sixers in the standings. The Sixers have a tough schedule. They have to play the Warriors, the Suns, the Nuggets, the Mavs.
Yeah, they have the toughest remaining schedule of all the teams. They have the toughest remaining schedule.
Yeah, and I look at the Knicks' schedule is not tough at all. Our toughest game is versus like the Nuggets. But the Sixers are 40-22. As of before tonight's games, I believe, and the Knicks were 37-27. So, I mean, I'm focused on the Knicks. I want the Knicks to get, to at least jump the Cavs, because if they get the 4 seed, it's going to help them immensely in the playoffs with some home court games.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. And out west, I mean, the Lakers are done. They can't. I think not only the Lakers are done.
Also, LeBron. Well, the Lakers, dude. Like,
I think he's
they're
done.
Not. They made a great trade. They've been looking a lot better, but LeBron is hurt right now. You don't know.
That's what I mean. I think with him being hurt, they're done this year. And I think with him being hurt again to finish the season, I don't know. I think it's been 3 out of the last 4 seasons, or 4 out of the last 5, whatever it's been, 2 out of the last 3. But it seems like he's been ending seasons with injuries, the last couple of years. I think time's catching up with even the great LeBron. And I think this might be the beginning of the end for him too. Dude, your body can't hold up. I mean, he's had a hell of a run, but I mean,
38 years old, but
yeah,
his plan is to play until his son gets drafted. He's got a son named Brainy James, who's like a senior in high school. He wants to play in the same team as his son. So if Bronny, I don't think Bronny's that good, to be honest. He made the McDonald's All-American.
I don't think he is either.
But he made the McDonald's All-American game because he's related to LeBron, and LeBron admitted that. He's not one of the top 20 players in the country, in my opinion. He could prove me wrong in college, obviously, but he really made it because his name. That's just true. It's just the way it is. But he's a good player. Last night he had a big game, some like state tournament. He scored 21 points. So he's a very serviceable player. He hasn't chosen a college yet. But what I'm saying is that, I don't know if an NBA team's going to draft him after 1 year of college, or if he's going to go to college or go straight to the G League. But it's going to be at least 2 years at the minimum that he's going to be in the NBA, till he gets to the NBA. So LeBron's going to be over 40 at that time. So, LeBron's, honestly, I think LeBron's going to play. I think LeBron, if he's healthy, if he doesn't like tear an ACL or rupture his Achilles, I think LeBron's going to play till at least 43, I think, man.
Well, that's my point. That's a big if. I think the injuries are going to start catching him, man. And I think he'll probably let go of this pipe dream, because I just, like you said, I don't think the kid's good enough. And I think Father Time's just gonna catch up with him. Now, I look at the West, though. I look at Durant and the Suns. How's this thing gonna come together? And them and Denver. I just look at that. I think it's a 2-team race out there. I really do.
Yeah,
I just think that's it.
Tonight was KD's first game in the Suns, or was it his second? Today's Friday.
Second.
He played one on Wednesday, right?
Against Charlotte. So yeah,
KD messed around tonight and scored 29 and 6. So yeah, I mean, with the addition of KD, it was at the expense of my guy from Villanova, Mikal Bridges, but KD's a generational player, so I can't fully blame them. However, I'm a little angry because Mikal Bridges signed a deal in the offseason, and he gave the Suns a really hometown discount. He's worth more than he got paid. But then the Suns go and trade him. So it's like, damn, like that's kind of like but they were going for the title. They got a new owner. The new owner got the deal done. He got KD. So it is what it is. But the Suns are looking pretty good so far with KD. I mean, I believe his first game the other night, did they win? Let's see. They beat the Hornets on Wednesday. Let's see what he did in his first game. What did KD do? KD had 23. So the first couple games, he had 23, then he had 20. So yeah,
he's back. Yeah, he's back.
But yeah, I guess the news of the night is the Knicks won. Basically, the Knicks basically won a buzzer beater. I know there's 1 second left, but Julius Randle, shout out to him, big shot for the Knicks. And I'm very proud. My co-host thinks the Knicks have a chance in the playoffs, which is not a lot of. You won't hear a lot of people in sports say that. They might give the Knicks more respect now, but the fact that you're saying that, I'm very happy to hear that, dude.
Yeah, no, and I mean that. I just you can sense certain things, and you sense maybe there's a little more going on here, and maybe they're getting hot at the right time, and maybe the basketball gods are going to say, "Hey, man, you guys suffered enough," So it's been a while, right? It's been a long time since the New York Knickerbockers have won a championship. Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen, but I'm saying they could mess around and go deep, and that would be a thrill, So, and then who knows, so it'll be a thrill for you, not for me, but I'd be happy for you.
Yeah. And then as far as college basketball is going, Villanova has been playing really well. Like I kind of predicted that once they got Justin Moore back and he got kind of healthy, they would play better. They beat a couple of ranked teams recently, including Creighton and Xavier. They got their last regular season is tomorrow versus UConn. It's at home. I think it's at the Wells Fargo Center. And then they have the Big East tournament next week. So, they have to win the Big East tournament to get to the tournament. So we'll see what happens. I don't think they're going to have a bye. They're probably going to be playing on Wednesday versus, I'm guessing they're going to be playing DePaul or Georgetown, if I had to guess. I don't know. Because I think it starts Tuesday. It depends who wins. So, I don't know. But the Villanova, we're getting prepped for the postseason. We don't know if we're going to be in the NCAA tournament. We don't know if we're going to be in the NIT. We got to perform in Madison Square Garden, the biggest stage. We'll see what happens. But, that's sports for today. The show, all the social media links are in the description. Joe, the floor is yours, sir.
Oh, how faint indeed are the footprints we leave in the sands of time. Good night.
Take care, everyone.